asking for help, and that can be one of the things that helps us become individuals as young people when we're in the military. But it's also something, from my perspective, because I do a lot of cultural competency training, law enforcement, train law enforcement, clinicians, faculty, all of that, legislators even. So, and one of the threads there is that ability to self-determine is great. However, we also have to teach help-seeking behavior. You and I both talked about homeless vets in San Francisco, and like I said, it's a realistic goal that we can solve that problem. I think that has a lot to do with teaching that help-seeking behavior. We've got to be able to actually intervene in some ways. One of the great things that I like about working at Swords and Plowshares is that it's very direct. Our outreach team goes right to the veterans, and so I've gone out with them. I'm a policy analyst, and like you said, I try to find a way to escape the office too, however I can. But as a researcher, it informs my perspective to go out there on the streets to talk with veterans who are in tough situations. We've gone out with the BART police and walked through all the stations and talked to the vets, and our outreach specialists will be right with me, and so will someone from the VA. We talk to the vets, offer them services, and work with them. Sometimes they listen. And it's that persistence, much like what we learned in the military. We've got to take all the good values that we have and apply them to the work we're doing now. I think one of the unifying things about everyone in this room is that you're all helpers. You want to make people's lives better. You're protecting people in a lot of ways too. And that's, again, something that we learned in the military. And so, I think that that's a way that we can continue that service. The community here in San Francisco, I grew up in the Central Valley. A lot of veterans there too, but the veteran community there is kind of split apart. You can find pockets of great, associations to work with and people to find community. But definitely here in San Francisco, there's so many people to work with, and even non-veterans. So that's why we do the work that we do with the training for cultural competency, is because we want to bring people together around the same idea. I think that ultimately the difficulties that we see in the veterans population regarding homelessness, it's not the same as the non-veteran population, but we have a lot to learn from the successes that we've already had in working with the veteran community here. And so there's a lot of crossover in many ways. We're dealing with people that have co-occurring disorders. We're dealing with people who've been homeless chronically, and so that is something that we need to find those threads and how that thread is bringing us together. So that's a really special thing. And I always talk about collaboration, interagency, collaboration. Everybody has so much they can do, right? We've all got a limited number of resources, funding, personal energy that we can give. But when we bring all of that together, we establish a network, right? And so it's that continuum of care, like I said. There's a path for people, and we have to keep them on that path. And whatever we do will stabilize them to that next step. And so we have to carry them through that whole process. And I think fundamentally that's what's going to make us successful in this city. I have a lot of hope for this city. I hear a lot of criticism on the outside of what we're doing or what we can do, but I know from being here, and I'm not even a citizen who's been here for very long. I've only been here since 2013, but I've seen it. Swords and Plowshares helped me out in a big way. The reason I even came to Swords and Plowshares to work was because of the fact that they helped me when I was in a difficult spot. So I was actually getting evicted. I had 2 weeks left. I was going to be out on the streets. Before that, I was, in unstable housing situations. I got kicked out of some places, sleeping in my car, all that kind of stuff. I found Swords, and they got me into a place, paid my first and last month's rent, stabilized me, and I was fine after that. For the most part, but they pointed me to other resources. So it's those steps again. I was a grad student, believe it or not, at University of San Francisco with a full scholarship when all this was going on. All right, and I still have a hard time when I mention this as well. So, these things happen to people, but when you have the resources available and you have that person, whoever it is, you know, someone like Bill who says, hey, you know, we've got something that can help you.
Yeah.
You know, let's get it done, right? When you got someone like that in your corner, you can make it, right?
It's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.